let's start with you.
So, Timon, I've been looking at this stock exchange. A number of companies have certainly taken a dive, or certainly in a bear market. Doesn't look like they're going to recover, particularly the hospitality industry. But I have noticed that there are some unique shares that are rallying at the moment. And I'm just wondering, how do we identify those shares in view of COVID and the unknown future of the COVID crisis?
Now, just before I continue, what I'm going to do, everybody, is I'm going to mute you, and so that you will hear less interference, and then I will talk, and then we will go around the table. Maybe you'll want to say. You can either mention your thoughts on or give your answer based on the question, or you can pass with pleasure. You don't need to say anything. Okay, so as I was saying, Sam, when it comes to trading and with MultiTrader, I do like to broaden, other than just mentioning shares to trade, and there are financial markets that we have the opportunity to buy and sell at the same time. So the first thing is we need to look at the shares that do not really correlate to the movement of COVID, that don't have any direct effect, if I can say it that way. So for example, gold shares, we could maybe start looking at gold again. So we're talking future-oriented online digital technology, we're talking decentralized apps, we're talking cryptocurrencies, and also we can say commodities that have currency bearings where people view it as a safe haven, because as long as there's inflation, we will see commodities like precious metals like gold and platinum continue going up. Neville, do you want to have a stab at it, or would you like to pass?
I'm sort of looking at so I'm looking at forex and trying to figure out how it's affecting various countries. So, like for example, the Americas are taking serious strain with the amount of deaths over there, and it looks like their currency is falling against like the New Zealand dollar or the Aussie dollar. I don't have anything more.
All right.
Yeah, Tim and I just started trading about a year ago in the currencies and in the stocks and that. So I've been through your course last year, so I'm here to learn. Yeah, that's about it.
100%.
So I don't have really any comments on it. So
Okay, no, that's fine.
Thanks.
All right.
If we're looking at currencies, it's strange that Bitcoin seems to be rallying at the moment. And for me, a Bitcoin is quite a strange investment instrument, purely because I'm old-fashioned and it is not underpinned by any assets. But it is rallying. I also did a few purchases recently, international purchases, and I paid in Bitcoin, which was quite surprising for me. So I think that's one aspect. To come back to the shares, I think now during the COVID crisis, for those of you who invest in the share market and in and out, for example, probably the pharmaceutical industry is probably going to rally for a short period of time. And when I say short period, over the next 2 to 3 years as we go through the storm. I also think that some of the vaccine companies, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, are certainly going to rally. And then those companies that are focusing on therapeutics, like Gilead, who is focusing on remdesivir, is going to rally. But that doesn't exclude some of the generic companies, and I'm thinking a generic company in South Africa, well, not only in South Africa, but it's based in South Africa, a company called Aspen. They have the rights to produce dexamethasone, which is apparently a drug that reduces mortality. So that's where I've been investing in at the moment, and my shares have been rallying. I did also put a bit of money in Sasol, and for some reason or other Sasol went up, which defied logic, that the rest of the world is not using oil So I'm not sure if it is the byproducts of what Sasol produces, because there's a number of byproducts, in terms of the value chain that people are investing in. So for me, it's a very interesting market, but a very scary market at the moment.
Okay.
So that is just my thoughts about trading.
Okay, great.
You suggested 7 trends, like XR, AI, cannabis, electrical vehicles, all those stuff.
Yes.
How would I find the best vehicle to trade in if I should select one of those?
All right, so there's valid points that have been addressed around the circle, and I need to try and remember everything. Martin, I'm going to start with you, and that is the best vehicle to invest in is, I need to go back into a technical answer rather than a broader fundamental answer, because as traders we are not investing for the long term but rather the medium term. So what you need to do is you need to break down those mega trends that I told you about, those 7 mega trends with extended reality, cannabis, and all the companies, and then you create your own little watch list, whichever trading platform you're looking at, and then follow the strategy exactly. Remember, what comes first with trading in general is the price action that the market is moving. So as Sam said, pharmaceutical companies are the type of shares that you should be buying. Then I can say yes, but I can argue that when I go to the pharmaceutical companies and I go look at Aspen or Nvidia or Gilead or all that, and the company's going down, then the question is, should we be buying it? Because we are basing it on rationality of what we should be doing, and then there is what the chart is actually doing. And that is the most important thing as a trader, is you need to look at the chart first, and then if it is moving up, then go and look at the fundamentals. And if it is moving against it, then remember, technicals always come first. If a market's moving up, it will continue moving up. If it moves down, it is not wise to go against the trend, just like it is not wise to go against the river current. Okay, this includes, okay, so for example, Bitcoin is rallying. Why is Bitcoin rallying? So for example, Bitcoin, you can say it's not backed by anything, but then you can say, but there is an intangible form of value for a digital currency. And then you're saying, but what does that mean? And you're saying, okay, well, we've had currencies with laws and taxes for the last couple of 100 years, and now a few intelligent non-conformists come into the world and they create digital currencies, and they say, you know what, currencies in general aren't working. Debts are at tremendous levels that will never be paid off, and we don't trust the system anymore. We don't trust society as we used to. Now we are going to let the people decide on whether the conformed currencies are working or the new digital style of currencies are working. So now all of a sudden it's backed by the people. So not only is Bitcoin a currency, it is also a form of payment. It is also an opportunity to enter into decentralized forms of businesses, into decentralized forms of apps where we won't have to worry about, let's say, red tape, too much red tape. We won't have to worry about human error, hacking possibilities. Do you see how when you start looking at it as what it started at and where it is now, the possibilities of where Bitcoin has room to grow? Gold and other precious metals, why would people be investing in, for example, silver now when mines are closed down, where there's retrenchment? And to answer that is that it's not always about mining. It's about the bigger element of silver is also starting to be seen as a currency. Silver is, people are investing in silver for future possibilities. So for example, silver is now being used in electric vehicles. All right. And we know that electric vehicles and the rate that Tesla and SpaceX are working on the new technology for the future, that there are other reasons other than mining and that is a form of currency, a form of investment, and also a form of a commodity. So do you see how, but then you got to go to the chart and say, does it match what I'm saying? Did that answer your question, Sam, and everybody else that went around the table?
Yes.
Yes, Tim, and I mean, the question was answered.
No, sorry, Neville, questions?
I don't have a question, just a comment that I'd like to make is, so I've been also sort of dabbling with trading for like the last 6 months or so, and I think initially it started off as gambling more than anything else. And now it's a case of trying to figure out the various patterns, and I've come to the conclusion that one should select one pattern and just try and keep on going with that until you become good at it. Because I was like trying one pattern, that didn't work, and then I moved to something else, and you really don't get anywhere like that. So you don't specialize in anything, whether it's a forex pair or a CFD locally or overseas or one of the commodities. It doesn't really matter. You've got to try and find a pattern that suits your style, and away you go.
Okay, let me just
Stick with it.
ask, what pattern are we referring to, Neville?
Well, there's all sorts of patterns. So are you going to go for a W pattern? Or are you looking at a breakout pattern?
Yes, but you said
I don't know, I've seen something called a Dow series.
you did say one pattern. So are you saying which is that one pattern you're talking about?
Okay, so I've now the pattern I'm busy trading at the moment is on a weekly chart. When the candle, that weekly candle breaks the 50 moving day average, either up or down, doesn't make a difference, and that's the direction I'm going to trade in. Obviously dropping down to a daily time frame to find an entry point, and that seems to be working at the moment. How well it's going to work, I don't know. I'm still busy paper testing it.
So when you say it's been doing well, over how many trades are we talking about?
At the moment I'm up to about 15 trades.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm still busy paper testing it, and it's looking good. Obviously it doesn't win all the time, I don't expect that. I'd be happy with a 50% return on it,
so
or 50-50 win.
okay, my first question to you is, how many items do you have in your watch list that you're looking at?
So for the coming week I've only got 3 items.
Okay, that's fine. So what you'll do is you'll take those 3 markets, financial markets, and you'll back test. So go back into the charts 10, 20 years, let's say 15 years, because the algorithms have changed before that. And then jot down in your Excel document the trades that have lined up according to the system, follow it exactly to where it's closed, and see how your portfolio would have done. Then the 15 that you're doing now, that's good. See what your portfolio would have done with real money, and then with real money consider the small costs involved to see if your portfolio would have been successful. So when you're talking a pattern, I think the word that we should be using is system, because as soon as you say moving average over a weekly time frame, there are criteria, and the criteria creates the system. So stick what you're doing. It sounds good, but I would back test, from 10 years ago or so, and see how the system would have performed, and then look at the items that you have. So for example, if you're looking at the JSE top 40, then go and look at for example, the S&P 500 top 10, the DAX, the CAC. Go look at a few forex currencies, commodities, and then compare. And then what you're doing is you're molding, and you are comparing your trading strategy to see which one is conducive to your system according to the financial markets. All right, so does that give some ideas, Neville?
Yeah, cool. That's great. Any advice I can get pointing me in the right direction is great. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Sam, you have a trading question?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to comment. I'm not convinced that you can use one pattern in the toolbox. I think you need to have 3 or 4 different patterns. I mean, looking at a trading chart is looking like at the photograph, and in that photograph you have a number of patterns. And I think after a number of years of trading, those patterns pop out at you like a snake in the jungle. It pops out at you. So maybe, Timon, you can just correct me if I'm wrong, but you should have a few patterns that you rely on, because just a candle pattern alone sometimes can be dangerous.
All right, Sam. So first thing is the terminology was a little bit incorrect on Neville's side, because what I said is Neville said he's looking at one pattern, and then he mentioned the moving average, the items that he trades, and also the time frame. So that is not a pattern, that is a strategy. And if that strategy was based on proven back-tested data, then that is all he needs for now. When you say a pattern, normally we're talking about, there's two types of patterns. One are candlestick patterns that form, as you all know with multi-trade, I like my price patterns. And then the second type of pattern are candlestick patterns that are individuals. So there are patterns where you base the buy and sell signal on how the candlestick has performed. So there's a harami, there's a hammer, there's a rising star and a falling all star and all that. But Neville is talking about an actual strategy, a system with criteria. And I think it's great that he's working on one system, because as Bruce Lee says, I don't fear the man who does 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the man who's done one kick 10,000 times. And the same exactly goes with trading, that I have a system with patterns and certain criteria that has worked over the last 18 years, and I haven't changed it. Even though I'm looking at other things, Neville is now in the testing phase of that one system, which can take up to 6 to 8 months just to test before the real account comes in. So it was just a terminology thing, Sam. All right.
Thanks, T.
All right. So
thanks, T. And just the other thing,
yes.
I just wanted to comment. Neville made the point that if he comes out 50% gains, I think if he gets it right 50% of the time, he's quite comfortable with that. That doesn't take into account the cost of trading. So if you want to come out square, you probably got to get it 53 or 54% of the time right. But I remember when I was buying stock, when you were doing penny stocks, your average win at those days, Timon, was around 67 to 70%, and that's what I think I felt comfortable with at that stage.
Okay, so it's an ego thing when it comes to win rates, and it's a misconception that a win rate is even necessary, Sam, because at the end of the day, if you have a 50% win rate, then if you have a risk to reward of 1 to 2, where you want to make twice as much as you're willing to risk, you will come out profitable. If you have a win rate of 20%, so you get 2 trades right out of 10 trades, you can become profitable as long as your risk to reward ratio is 1 to 5. So if you trading a system that only gets it right 20% of the time, and you bank 5 times more than what you're willing to risk, you will come out profitable. But the thing is, the majority of traders, they find that the win rate is the most important thing. And marketers like to show off and say this is an 80% win rate system, or even a 90% win rate system. And then the first question is, I'm saying, okay, it's a 90% win rate, but how is your risk to reward? Because what if you get it right 90% of the time, and then that one trade wipes you out? And in the past, I've had a lot of even mentors blow their accounts because their win rates are so high, and they feel confident, and they feel that they will never make a loss, and then they make a loss and they blow their account. So whenever I hear win rates, the first question you need to ask is how is that person's risk to reward. So yes, I have a multi-trader system that I've used for 18 years, and the win rate is 62.5% on average, which is great. But even if it was 40% or 50%, as long as the risk to reward is 1 to 3, I will know that my results and the outcome will be very similar to my 1 to 2 risk to reward with a 62.5% win rate. Okay.
No, I'm happy, Timon. Thank you.
All right, Martin.
I'm happy as it is. Thank you.
I can hear you perfectly, Martin. That's great. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Yes. I speak closer. Yeah.
All right, John, Neville, anything else?
I like today's session. Thanks.
Excellent. And I do plan to do these more often. I hope you'll join me again, and we'll most likely go to different venues. We'll try different things. I'll be building along it. Is this something you guys would like to continue joining?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Timon. We would.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So just to walk around, Sam, you probably don't know this, but it's going to be very interesting. I just want you to come over here, if you can, to this hologram. So you can use your keyboard keys, all right? And I want, individually, I want you to go into this hologram, and then I will meet you in the place, I'll meet you in the next place. Sam, you can go in first. Just carry on going in, and you'll be taken. No, go back, Sam. Oh, he's taken. All right, next.
Okay.
All right, so this is my world that I started working on today, and I will be building along it, and I just wanted to see, we will be doing events here. I'll be able to put seatings, a stage for people to talk to. I'll be able to put slideshows for the future, so you can understand the brevity of this opportunity that we have for future events.
That's beautiful. It's fantastic.
Yes, so
It's great.
that concludes the event. It's now 20 to 7, and what I want you to do, just to play around, just to see how it works, is I want you to go to one of the shared spaces for today, and then you can explore and see other users to see how these VR events work. So if you can do exactly what you did in my world, you can click on, if you turn to the left, you'll see a deer, and you can go directly to the campfire. But that's where I'll leave you guys. So thank you very much for coming. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks, T.
Thanks, Timon.
Thanks, Timon.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Timon.
So you
Cheers.
can go
Thank
back.
you
You
for
can
the
go to the
experience.
campfire.